provides us a sense of history and where we came from.
Okay, so it provides us a sense of history and where we came from.
Identity.
Okay, it provides a sense of identity.
It tells us how we do things around here.
It tells us how we do things around here. All right, so one of the things that we oftentimes fail to realize is that, and we spend a lot of time talking about culture and cultural competence and all that kind of stuff, but we never spend enough, I don't think we spend enough time talking about the context, right? We don't spend enough time talking about the context by which culture comes. So, let's talk a little bit about farming. Anyone know anything about farming? Or been around farms, grew up, new farmers, or farmers? Okay. So there is a certain kind of culture that happens on a farm, given the farm context, right? So what are some of the things that farmers need to know to be successful in that context? What was that? Weather. So they have to understand weather patterns. What is it? Red sky. Morning to morning. Okay, so there's something. All these little things, right? They need to know about animals, right? So how to breed them, how to take care of them. I saw a show where they put this glove on and they put their hand in the cow's behind, and it was deep. Right? So all this stuff they need to know. They need to know about whether they're going to be organic farmers or they're going to use chemicals. How much ransom to pay Monsanto. How much they're going to use different products and all that kind of stuff. So they also have to know about the market, right? When to sell, when not to sell. There are actually certain clothes that are good to wear on a farm. Like, I think an Armani suit might be a little overdressed on a farm. Certainly, you want to wear boots that come all the way up to your shin, because you don't want to get stuff in your boots. And there's a certain kind of language that happens on a farm. They talk about stuff in a certain kind of way. There's even music that is particular to that culture. And what do they call that music? Country music. Not the stuff they play on the radio. That stuff is not country music. That is like R&B smoothed out with a little twang. But I heard somebody, they were like, some artist was like, and back it up. I was like, we don't back it up in country music. No backing. So there's all of this stuff that is the farm culture because of the context, right? So the context drives the culture. Now, if I take an individual from the farm and I put them in downtown Manhattan, what do the people in Manhattan say about this farmer?
They're looking up.
So they're looking up. All right, what else? What's that? That he's a country hick. He's backwards, a bumpkin. Green Acres is the place for me. Farm life. Okay. Am I the only person who ever watched that show? From far and wide, get that city, give me that country. Something I don't remember this song, but so they would think that he's inadequate, that he doesn't fit, he's a bumpkin, he doesn't know what he's doing, so forth and so on. So what happens if I do the reverse and I take a kid or a guy from Wall Street or downtown Manhattan? In northern Minnesota, what do the farmers say about this guy? That he's snooty. He's clueless. And they may go as far as to say what my grandfather would say about a dog that doesn't hunt. What do you do with a dog that doesn't hunt? You shoot it. Now, I'm not saying we need to shoot animals. I'm against, I'm an animals rights dude. But that's what my grandfather would say. And he's dead, so we can't punish him. So, dog, moment of silence. Okay. So those are the things, so context is everything. And so when we see people who are out of context, we typically see behaviors that don't match what we see in our behavior. So when we talk about cultural competence, and so people say, well, this is what the Hmong people do. Well, why do they do that? Because of the context that they come from. Right? Now, here is the trick about cultural competence. I have to be careful when I say this. We have to tell people that they're in a new context. So it's okay for you to bring your stuff, because that's what the Statue of Liberty says, right? So bring me your poor, bring them your stuff, and blah, blah, blah. But know that there's some stuff you're going to have to give up, and then some stuff you'll have to work with us on building together, right? And so, do I have to know everything about every culture? I would say the more you know, the more empowered you are. Just like they used to say that for G.I. Joe. The more you know. But more important is to understand context, because context gives you more information than actually looking at the things that people do. It will be very interesting to see what later generations will think about the fact that people put clothes on their dogs. When they see these artifacts, like they have really intelligent animals, they wore clothes and everything. So just to look at what we're doing without having the proper context can lead us astray. So I want to talk a little bit about an out of context problem. Has anyone ever heard of that concept before? Out of context problem. Okay. So why do deer get hit by cars? You ever thought about that? Why do deer get hit by cars? Or trucks? What's that?
Cars are out of context.
Cars are outside of their context. They have no idea what cars are. I mean, did anyone seen Bambi? Was there any point where Buck, Bambi's dad, said, Bambi, be careful of that. That's a Ford F-150. Or was there another part where, Bambi's mom, Dawn, is sitting there down and saying, now, Bambi, that's a Toyota Yaris. Don't be concerned with that. Right? Yeah, those things that happen. So deer get hit by cars because it's outside of their context. It is outside of their awareness. They don't know what that stuff is. And so all too often we end up with cross-cultural conflicts because... So I know a guy who, and when he put it this way, I never thought of it. And I was like, ooh, that's kind of disgusting. And he said when he first came to the United States, he was from Haiti, he said he thought that what we ate was disgusting. And I said, well, what in particular? Because there's a lot of stuff to choose from, right? And I said, well, what in particular? He said, you guys have sweet meat. I was like, sweet meat? What are you talking about? I was like, that sounds disgusting. He was like, yes, I thought that was very disgusting. Sweet meat. And I said, well, what does it taste like? He's like, it's usually beef and it has the sauce on it. And I said, barbecue? He said, yes, sweet meat. It's nasty.